Guys. It was like I was walking from a bad dream. My God, this world is real. No, I'm trapped in this world. Guys, wake me up, slap me. Ow, that hurts. Maybe Israel. That hurt. Guys, I'm in this dream world. No, it's not true. Get me out of here. No, God, no. I will not listen. All right, so enough with the screaming, yelling. Anyway, well, it was like I had a bad dream. Well, I was gonna do this last night, but I was too tired for that. I wanted to say, guys, I woke up from a bad dream. Anyway, I was trying to read. I was reading a book. It was on I think it was I think he was a CEO of Zappos, Tony. And there was a quote in that book. It was about Morpheus, and Morpheus was quoting, and I was like, wow, I should really watch the Matrix, not the second and third one. Excuse me. But the first one, I never got to watch. I did get to watch the first one, but it was when I was little. Now, it was when my friend showed me the Matrix, but I don't really remember the whole thing in pieces. And so since my awareness had expanded to the point that I understand something, so I rewatch it and I watched the whole thing, and I realized, my God, it was true. Like, if you compare to the Matrix, the movie, and the whole reality now, it's the same thing, right? Because the Matrix was built around like a software, if you will, like where people are hooked up to their computer, their computer, and then they think that's the reality, right? And that's the program that they've been given, and they cannot disobey the Matrix. And the same thing as goes to reality, right? So, Neo woke up and he couldn't believe it, and then they were in a room, right? As they were in a room, and Neo was sitting there, and Morpheus was sitting there, and Morpheus was explaining how that, like, your whole life, I'm talking to you too, like your whole life, don't you feel inside that there's something wrong with, like, I'm not talking about nature, but the whole society, like people, like, not wrong, but as in, I will tell you, like, have you ever felt like there was something missing? There was more to life than just going to school, get a job, and have a normal life, like Steve Jobs said. Once you understand that there's much more broader to sense that there's the thing that you can do, like, and influence and mold things and change things. That's what Steve Jobs said. But as Morpheus was sitting there, and Neo was listening to him, this is how Morpheus says, right? He says that the Matrix is everywhere. It's all around us, even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window, or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It's the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You're a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. So, when I'm talking about the Matrix, you are a prison of your own mind. You know why? Here's the thing. The story that you play create the reality that you live. It's the perception. Now, I was once in a congregation. Well, it looked like a church to me, but I was sitting there. I was there for the experience, you know. But I was sitting there. I was more aware and open-minded more than most people in that room because I'm not dictated by my belief. I am more flexible and fluid with the idea that you can change because you're not controlled by faith. I'm not talking about the faith that, I'm talking about a puppet on the string. You're not controlled like a I had a my friend and I used to talk about, is life predestined, or somehow like your destiny is already set in stone. But however, it's not. You can change the future by changing your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, you change your behavior, and when you change your thoughts, you change your behavior. Well, first it goes from your thought, belief, and it changes your perception. Then it changes your behavior. But so many of us believe in not actual facts. No, well, there are like these ideas that life or adults are just opinions. So as I was sitting there and I was listening to this guy, mind you, I was more open-minded than most people. I was being aware because I know that if I listen to what he's saying, I can apply it in my life, or I can tell you how I see it. As he spoke, he said this: the truth, you cannot change the truth, but the truth can change you. So these findings, what I'm telling you is not just based on, it's based on finding that, like the reason why I read books, if the Matrix, if you will, in the movie, the dream world, it's a program, a software. They program how society works. And if you think of a software or program, in order to create a new fast, remember I read it, in order to create a new fast computer, you have to take out the old, swap out, software and put in the new to make it run faster. Well, these books are like a program, like a bits of data that go into your mind, and it kick out all the garbage, all the dirty stuff that been accumulated through over the years of your subconscious, that was programmed into your mind when you were little by adults who have opinions upon opinions through generation to generation of how it should be instead of how it can be. Because so many of us don't believe that it can be, so many of us think that it cannot be, right? We have this, we were thinking that it's impossible, that life, life is not like this, and life it should be like this, and da 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 da. But however, these adults are more like robots, a slave to their own mind and to their own society. If you think of it as well, the reason why we listen to them because they're adults and they have authority over us when we were little, and we monkey see, monkey do, because parents lead by example. However, over time, parents or teachers or adults have inadequate knowledge, if you will, inadequate information, and it didn't teach you about things like people get tripped up about money, right? Money is just a piece of paper with ink on it, right? And people say money is the root of all evil, right? Stuff like that. The belief system. One thing that I was reading a book a long time ago about. You probably heard, if you're in personal development, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And he was talking about a couple of things that you shouldn't talk about: religion, sex, and money. Now, these are taboos, right? But however, when it comes to a matter subject important to us, we have to look at it as this: why did we go to school? Why did we should go to school? Why? We gotta question. We gotta be curious enough to question all the things that are surrounded by us. Because if we don't question, we will never change our life. Because questions and curiosity open the door for us to live a better life. People say school is a gateway to a better life to become successful. However, if you're stuck in a mindset is that things can't be better, and think things are impossible to achieve. Over time, you build this ideas and belief around that because it was beaten out of you. I was listening to a talk with, Neil Tyson on YouTube, and he was saying most of the world that we live in when we were kids were controlled by adults, and that's true. And we cannot say anything because they have, power or whatever over us. And here's the thing that adults say are the knowledge that they have are obsolete today. That when you go to school and when you step outside, even if you go to school, your knowledge base is obsolete every time, right? It's not up to date. All the, I wish they changed the. See, here's the thing. My take on it. People will say, not me. People don't say, but I'm just saying. The thing is, if you want to change, successful. See, school said the school was built for you to become successful in life, right? So why? Here's my question to those teachers and whoever watching me is this: why didn't school teach you about how the brain, part of the brain works in its aspect? Now, here's the thing: why I said that, because if you explain to a kid who you label a special ed, he will live his whole life as if it was real. Because when you were a kid, you like your environment. So first of all, today, who you are today was because of your past environment, the people that you surrounded with, and the stuff that you see on television. Their thoughts influence you. Therefore, you're who you are today. Now, if these thoughts that say are well, they aren't harmless, they can be harmful, but these thoughts that enter your brain, into your mind, these thoughts become rooted into the subconscious, and as the subconscious go deep, what happens is the way you see things like change, and as it changes, your behavior and your reaction toward reality is different, right? Your experience also change your perception and change the way you see things a little bit, because you've seen it and you experienced it, you felt it, right? And the whole notion is this: that in order to live a better life, you need a degree, a piece of paper to tell you. Here's the thing that people won't get: it's not the degree that make it more valuable, it's you. But we live in a society that care about degree, right? So I remember Tony Robbins says, or Jim Rohn said, if you want things to get better, you must be better. If you want things to change, you must change. If you will change, everything will change for you. So it's not about just changing. We can change people try to change the external things, but it's not the external things that change the reality. If we change our thoughts, our perception, how we talk to ourselves, our ideas about the world, we therefore change our belief system, swap out for the new one, and we change our a belief. And when we change the belief, what happens is that belief begin to change the way we see things, and that perception changes, and they control behavior. And what happens is that because we have to understand about habits too. Now here's the thing. So let's read another Morpheus quote. Morpheus says, when he was talking to Neo as they were in the computer program that they built, not the Matrix. The Matrix is a system. Exactly. The school is a matrix. The whole society is a matrix. It's actually happening right now. You're not being aware because you weren't taught these things. It didn't come natural, right? Neo, that system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inert, so hopelessly depend on the system that they will fight to protect it. What that statement's like, whoa, I'm getting exclusive on here. That statement sounds so true. Listen, but until we do, these people are still part of that system. So most of the world right now are part of the system that were built by people, opinions, and ideas, and generation to generation. And that idea is you should go to school to become successful. But it's a way that you have to believe in my belief because it's right, or you know that you have to do this certain thing because it's right. It may not be right, but there's another way of doing things better, right? It's not just me regurgitating this, but it's you can become better when you become aware. Like when you become aware of a problem, you can fix it. When you're not aware, you cannot fix it, right? That you have to understand that most of these people are not ready to unplug. Are you ready to be unplugged by the system that were built to enslave you of your own mind? Because if you think about it, the television, the news are mind control, meaning they're inputting in data that's not real. That's it's playing on your fears and controlling your reality. Now, your reality is however you want to make it. Your reality is you can choose to be happy. You can choose a different path for you. You can choose a lot of things. You have a choice. You have free will. And then here's the thing. And many of them are so inert and so hopelessly depend on this. That's the system that they will fight to protect it. They will fight to protect it. If you try to do personal development and you're trying to change you and you're trying to change people, and if you try to, because you can't really change people, you only can change yourself. But here's the thing: when you go to change something, and what happens is you're not part of the system, right? You're a bug. You're a well, not a virus, but you're a bug. Like you're disrupting what people value. What people value is that would be impossible. You can't change. You have to go to school. That's like a law. That's a law or a rule in their mind, and they can't change because it's a change of habit. As you grow old, that habit become a chain, and that's a chain. It's a bondage. Unless you free your mind. The Bible says that when you seek the truth, when you seek the truth, it will set you free. Well, if you know the truth, it will set you free. You know why? Because the truth makes you aware of how society way of thinking. If you go out and talk to the average person and you talk about injecting these ideas, you can live a better life. That you can change your life through ideas that are not through school, and they would say that would be impossible. And here's the thing that most people don't understand. When it comes to school, they don't teach you about human relationship, about leadership, as in Patrick Bet-David, an entrepreneur book, or they didn't teach you about the mind or brain or left hemisphere, how short-term memory works, or how what memory is actually. How do we remember? We could regurgitate facts and figures, and we never apply. I'm not. Most people hate school, right? They don't say it, but it's funny that though they hate school and they push their child to go to school. Why? Because they believe in education is important. First of all, education is important. I'm not like kicking that out because I do read for a guy who used to, because I was surrounded by people who think reading or books aren't cool, because cool means that you don't need books, you don't need to study. Cool is like, wow, this guy, so I remember when I was in class, I was kind of like jealous of my classmate, like, whoa, hold up, how come, like, why can't I have that ability where I don't have to study and get A's and straight A? It don't work like that, okay, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to be that guy, who don't study and who don't read or who don't learn anything. You know why? Because that guy probably don't want to do anything else with his life unless unless he understand about something, because most people say they brag. Most people brag about not studying. Most people brag about not reading. First of all, there's a difference between reading a book and actually applying. Most people hate reading a book because it's too hard. It's too long. Like they rather do something fun right now. They rather party and waste their life on something. But if you want a better life, you got to do the things that most people aren't doing, right? You got to do it to live a better life. You know, I was listening to Bill Gates. There was a talk. Now you may hate them or like them. I just whether see, you know, people get tripped up on hating these people because they're either rich or, you know, they have lots of money. I don't care. No, if they're successful, like if you think about it, if they're successful, why wouldn't you like model after them? But like I'm talking about their ideas, okay, ladies and gentlemen. If they're speaking like they're giving out information, why aren't we like be open-minded and letting that information in and changing our life, right? You know, that what make me pissed, because like, you know, they have, you know, you have conspiracy theories and you have all these things, right? And people always see something wrong with it. Who cares? I don't care. You know, I'll tell you right now, I don't like politics, right? But I try to learn it. It's not easy because I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. It's just that it's not part of my life. Part of my life is uh uh let's go. So let me get this on. Books. I'm not just reading for books. Like I'm reading because I want. I'm I'm it my you know sometimes I'm itching, right? My brain is itching for like ideas. Like these are like, you know, reading from psychology, from uh what was it, relationship, or like uh happiness and successful stuff. Like it's because if you read, or if I read this, that means I'm made aware of my problems, and if I'm aware, I can change it, right? If you're not aware, you cannot change it. That's the thing that I'm trying to get. Like I don't know, you know, people think reading is not cool. Well, okay, reading maybe not be cool, but these ideas are cool. And you know, and when I'm reading like books on space, or you know, I'm not an expert on space or quantum physics, but it's very interesting how they have like there's more. My God, like an atom may be small, but there's more smaller particle, and then now they have like string theory, right? But I'm not an expert. I just like, you know, the sound of, you know, how our black hole are made in the stars, or how that's just science and stuff. I was never into science, right? And I was reading a book on brain and mind, and it's making you aware of how your mind actually works. Like the reason why you follow people and follow big brands and stuff like that, do you know why? It's because of social proof. Social proof is that if you see everybody else, like I said in this video earlier, that you see everybody else do it, you follow because you think it's safe, you think it's the right thing to do, and you don't question it, right? And here's the thing, you know, I was listening to Bill Gates, and they were interviewing Bill Gates and Elon Musk in China. I think it was China. And Bill Gates said that the reason why he's successful now because he didn't have, I think he didn't have his 20. All he did was work inside, like for um, when in all his 20s, and he didn't become, like I think he became, I can't remember when they became a billionaire or a millionaire, but still, like I don't hate these people. I mean, if you like Tony Robbins, right? I don't, like most of the world hate this guy, or some of, I don't, because he changed my life. He changed how I see things, right? He he, he Tony Robbins' mentor was Jim Rohn, and I love Jim Rohn. The way Jim Rohn explained things, right? So simple, so understanding the truth, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, if you want to change your life, you must change the idea that you have. Meaning, you have to see and research what is true and what is not. And for me, I still like the idea of aliens, but I want to be don't tell anyone abducted by aliens, but and I want to go to their planets. But hey, aliens, is that me? So no, but anyway, I think that's my rant on how this whole society, like, it's been rigged against you. You can't win, because I was reading a entrepreneurship book, and that the reason why the school was built from Monday to Friday. You know, most people hate Mondays. Most people like Friday. Like they said, thank God it's Friday, TGIF, is because they're working from Monday to Friday, and then they work for the weekends, right? And nothing wrong with that. That's the person way of life. Now, if we can find a way to live a life that's with passion, we follow our hearts, our dreams, and when we do that, we become more joyful. When our happiness matters, of course, right? Your happiness matters. So what I'm saying is, you may disagree with these topics, but if you look out through the lens, now if you're adults, you probably disagree with me. But if you look without judgment, if you look without bias, because we human beings do have bias, right? And if you sit back and you look at it, most people see the world as black and white, right? But it's not black and white. There's contradiction. There's things that, that are, because if you think about it, if these ideas that you hold so cherishly and it's not making your life better, why, and it's not working, why do you hold it? Why don't you release it and let go? I know it's hard, because you know why, you have accumulated over time, so you got to let go of what's not working, and you got to let in what's working and try it out. You got to try. You got to give, you got to give these ideas couple of time to work, because they do work. It's not, because here's the thing, these ideas might not work for everybody, but it does work for some people, most of the people, if they do try, if they're not ignorant, right? Because ignorant is not being aware of these ideas. Ignorant is believing something that's, because if you're ignorant, meaning you won't change, you cannot change, you don't believe that you can change, and that you want things to stay the same. First of all, things will never stay the same. We are living in a time where technology is rapidly expanding. Maybe soon, maybe AI. They talk. Elon Musk was talking about AI, and AI might be taking over, like Terminator and stuff like that. I probably should do a video on Terminator. I like that. AI. No, I don't like AI coming. AI might be smarter than humans soon, or already. So anyway, I think that's my rant for today for the movie. It's actually good, and I believe that it's based on what society is. The Matrix, the movie. Now, it's because if you're into personal development, it's about like the mind, like you're changing your mind. It's about mindset. It's about changing your perception, if you will, and behavior. Anyway, subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I'll see you on the next. I'll see you.